I try to simplify my tackle as much as I can while I'm out in the water, so let's go over my entire day box and what I have packed to catch any type of trout. All right, so one thing you guys will notice right off the bat with this box is that it is half the thickness of a normal tackle box, right? Those normal planos, like the 3500s and stuff, they're about half this. But with trout fishing, you don't need that. Like spinners and spoons, they're super thin, right? They don't take a lot of space. So I do one full thin box and I have another thin with some extra gear. So if I'm on a big trip and I want to bring a lot of gear, I can bring both. And 2 of these will equal 1 whole box of another size. So that's why I go with this guy right here. As we open it up, we will have everything inside. By the way, I will have all of this linked below for you guys to buy or just kind of see what the products are. Right off the bat, on the top here, we have our jerk baits, right? These are our baits that I'm not going to be using all the time for trout, but man, they're going to catch big ones when you do. So this is going to be your Rapalas, flicker shads, everything like that is going to be in this top box. Any other like larger crankbaits or anything would also go in this spot for me. Next up, we have our spinners and our spoons, right? So these are going to be all of our small spinners. Most of these right here are Panther Martins. I have everything from black and golds to rainbow trout patterns to like the purples, right? A bunch of different stuff in there. Those are all going to be your smaller sizes. These are going to be your larger sizes. So I'm not really a huge fan of rooster tails, but I do have a couple. Most of these right here are all Panther Martins as well. These are all the bigger, heavier sizes. And then this one right here, I kind of have spoons all in one. I just don't throw spoons as much as I do spinners. So in here we have all of our spoons. We've got like some Castmasters. One of my favorites right here is the Fjord Junior. I don't know why, but that one has caught me so many large fish through the years. So I got that guy right here. Next up, we have our floats, okay? So this is gonna be like the Addicted Bobber. You guys know how much I love this float right here. We have some smaller trout magnet ones, just in case I'm doing some like finesse stalker fishing or something along those lines. And then we also have some of these torpedo floats, which you guys know I love for floating flies and a whole bunch of different stuff. So I really have stuff packed as tight as possible in here. I try to grab as much as I can. There's a little room right in here. I could probably put a couple more lures. That's what we got for this right here. This one down here is kind of my random box. So I do have one rooster tail in here. I've got a couple used bobber stop pieces, that way I'm not littering. And then I've also got my clippers. I throw a pack of nail clippers in every single fishing box that I own. On my bass box, my crappie box, my catfish box, my saltwater shark stuff, every single box has a pair of clippers. So I have the pair of clippers that I put in this guy right here. Now this side is a little weird. I actually went in and sawed some of it off. So this box has no like large space. You know how some of the boxes are like this side is all just, you know, little sections and then this is a big spot. Well, it didn't have that. So I went in and actually took out all the inserts and then went in and grinded all those off to make a large section right here. The first thing I have at the bottom here is my thermometer. So this is going to be reading water temps, especially in the backcountry when we're going for bull trout or we're going for things where we are watching that water temp, because the water temp will tell us how far the bull trout are up the river, right? So just anything like that, or if it's a hot day and you know, I'm worried that the water may be a little too warm to be fishing for trout, it's always nice to have one in here that can tell you a lot about the water, a lot about, you know, your day's fishing can be read with the water thermometer. These are pretty cheap. I believe I got this one at a Bass Pro, but Amazon's got a ton of these as well, like $4 or $5. I would recommend everyone have that in their trout box. This side right here for me is kind of my big section, right? So this is where I'm gonna have, for instance, my bag with all my split shots in beads. I have just small red beads. Never know when you're gonna need some beads, and they're super cheap. So I have that in here. I also have some little hand-tied hair jigs. So these are just hair jigs that I tied. I usually use these for ice fishing, but they work great under a float for like finesse situations for trout. Another thing you guys will notice here is I have everything individually bagged, right? Every single piece of gear in here is individually bagged. And the reason why I do that is because if one thing were to get rusted, for instance, if this pack of hooks right here were to get rusted, it does not affect the rest of the gear in my box, right? Now the spoons and spinners, different situation. If one of those rusts, yeah, I'm probably out some lures here. But I can always just replace the hooks on those, the lure's fine. If you lose a whole bag of hooks, that kind of sucks. So I have everything individually bagged. These are not the bags that you buy for the packaging. I just go on Amazon and buy some of these little pre-sized bags. They're a little thicker plastic too, so the hooks don't poke out. And I individually put like the label, for instance, owner, size 6, red. I put that in the bag so I know exactly what each each hook is. So after the hair jigs here, we have our hooks. I like to have a size 4, 6, and 8 in my box. Right now, I've just got the 6 and 8s. The owner mosquito hooks are an awesome trout hook. My new favorite trout hook is this one by Gamakatsu. It is called Trout Stinger. I don't know why, but my hookup ratio on these is awesome. I just really like these hooks. I also like to have a bigger pack of these, like a size 4, for when I'm fishing a river that, maybe has larger trout, or the fish are just really gut hooking the bait. I want a larger hook, so it's a little harder for them to get it down. The trout stingers I will end up phasing the owners out when I'm done using these, and I'm going to go all trout stingers. I don't know why it took me this long to find these hooks, but I absolutely love them. After that right there, we've got some more various baits, right? So we have our Berkley Power Bait. These are our little emerald shiner Berkley minnows. These are awesome for targeting stalker trout as well as hungry wild fish too. You can put them on a drop shot, bunch of different things. We have some pink worms. Trout love pink worms, so I've always got a pack of these little Berkley, they're the power worms. Absolutely love those. Always have one in my box. We've also got some bobber stops. These are by Phil. They're called the premium bobber stops. And these are the ones I recommend. These are better than the regular ones. They're a little more expensive, but it's only like $1. So absolutely love those. I got a big pack of those in here for all my slip floats and different rigs for trout. We've got some soft beads just for when I'm targeting steelhead or just river fish and I don't want to use live bait. These are a great, artificial alternative. We've got some small swivels. Gotta have some small barrel swivels. These are size 10. So these are super, super small. The thing is a size 10 barrel swivel is still 65-pound test. So you don't need big swivels with trout. Like, you are never going to break the swivel. You will always break the line first. So I've got some swivels in here, really small. That way they don't get in the way of your line and your rig. We've also got some regular bobber stops in here too. These are just the regular rubber ones. It's kind of nice to have both. I'll probably end up phasing these out because I absolutely love those thills, but it's nice to have those in there as well. We've also got some plain jig heads. These ones are pink. You can also have some black, some white, some olives. These are really nice to put on those Berkley worms here. If you were to put a Berkley worm on that jig head, that is a killer for stalker trout. So I always have that in my box just in case I'm fishing for wild fish and then some stalkers. I find a big school of them or whatever. It's always nice to have those. Last but not least here, probably the most important part, is I always carry a pack of Tippet in my trout box. And luckily these things are so thin that it all fits perfectly fine in the box. I carry 6-pound. You can also carry 8, or whatever you need, but 6-pound is kind of my all-around trout line, so I'm going to have that right in there with the box. You never know when you're going to need more line, and it's really nice to not have to carry it in your backpack. I have individual Tippet spools in every single one of my boxes. My bass box is 10-pound, my crappie box is 6, trout 6, catfish I think is 15 or 20, so I have a different spool in every single one of them. And then this guy too, when you run out, you can always just refill it with new line. So just go grab some 6-pound fluorocarbon, refill up the spool, and you're good to go. The Scientific Anglers also has a little cutter on the side of the spool, which is really cool. In case you were to forget clippers, you still have this here. After that, you're gonna close that up, and now you have a pack ready to go catch some trout.